welcome to episode 3 of Dear Miss Mary. We are talking about parenting today in marriage. This is actually me hiding from my kids and my husband. This is our office / guest room / grandma's room when she comes to visit / throw everything in here that is around the house when you don't have time to clean up and somebody's coming over. Right now this is Easter preparation for the boys. We're gonna have a piñata and lots of fun little activities for them to do, so I'm excited about tomorrow. Even though we're not gonna be able to be with our family and our friends and celebrate at our home church, I am so grateful for just being forced to stay home with my little crew, with my little tribe. How great is that? So I just want to say thank you so much. I have officially reached 100 subscribers on my YouTube channel. You guys are amazing. It is overwhelming to know that even though I'm blessing you, you all are blessing me right back. So thank you so much. I have all the confidence in the world that even if I just help one person, this was all worth it. All the fear, all of the anxiety, it was just all worth it. Okay, so the question is, what do we do when we don't agree on how to discipline our children? I have let go so much of my expectations and the things that I have been controlling in my life that subconsciously I think I've been doing this, so I kind of want to share it with you to see if maybe it will work in your marriage as well. So the one thing that ironically pops in my head when I think about this question is what my dad used to say. My dad used to tell me, Mary, marriage is like a business. I'm like, what? No, it's not, Dad. I always thought he was this insensitive, cold guy. Like, you don't even know anything about love. That's not what relationships are about. But you know what? For some reason, it popped in my head today. And it got me thinking, you know, it's funny how we sometimes treat the people that we love the most with the most judgment or expectation, maybe the most disrespect, than we would a complete stranger. And it got me thinking outside of the marriage unit. And I started thinking about how this would work in a professional environment. So in a professional environment, if I was the boss and there were 2 employees that, you know, they had 2 different ideas on how to tackle a specific problem, I would probably give them equal respect and opportunity to try their ideas out to see which one worked. And I thought, you know what? We are putting so much emotion into parenting and agreeing in our marriage because we want so much for our spouse to be on the same page with us, because if they're not, I don't know if it's a woman thing, but a lot of times we feel like in the ways that we disagree, in the ways that we're not together, that's a bad thing, that is something that could cause strife, could cause division, and we want to be one with our spouse, right? And so sometimes I think we not knowingly fear sometimes when we disagree on certain topics. Now, going back to the issue of discipline, I have been really practicing the art of letting go, as you probably heard in my message yesterday about how I have healed and overcome the troubles in my marriage and how I personally have found peace. You're going to hear some crazy discipline happening right now, I think. I can hear them in the background. This idea of letting go has a really big part to play in this topic. And the reason I'm saying that is because as women, we're created to support our husbands. We're created to empower them, and their greatest need is respect and honor, to know that they can be the man that we need them to be. And so what I propose to you as women, as wives, is most of the time, and I'm just going to say this, most of the time we will probably be right. I mean, I hate to say this, guys, but that's just how we were wired. We were made to nurture. We were made to raise our children and to multitask and figure out how to keep our home together. And that's just our gift. That's something that we've been blessed with. But I will tell you that there have been many times where I have had to kind of step aside just in the spirit of letting go and say, you know what, honey, let's do it your way. Let's try it. And I have been surprised at how many times he's been right, simply because I have no idea how he is seeing things. I don't know really where he's coming from or his perspective when he makes a decision. And sometimes if I just ask him why he wants to take a certain approach on discipline, even if it's for a specific infraction, I guess you should say, it's eye-opening sometimes. So one, I encourage you all to, if you don't agree with your spouse about how to discipline your child, then ask them why. Just not in a condescending kind of way or an inquisitive kind of way, but just say, that's interesting, honey. Why do you want to take that approach? You know, understanding your spouse and where they're coming from is such an important part of marriage, because a lot of times they have been exposed to certain things, they have certain feelings, they have certain experiences that create, you know, the person that they are and the decisions that they make. And so sometimes I actually hear him out and I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And secondly, as women, I know that my goal personally is to create an atmosphere in my home so that my husband always feels welcome, always feels peace, always feels loved and respected, even if we disagree on stuff. So I will always step aside and allow him, unless it is way out in left field and I'm like, okay, no. But I will most of the time allow him to do things his way, because a lot of times, even though he is right sometimes, a lot of times we end up doing it my way. But at least at the end, he will feel respected, honored, and that I trusted him. That's another opportunity to show your husband that you trust him. So I hope that this helps a little bit to kind of understand how to better, more lovingly, and more respectfully approach your spouse when it comes to disagreeing on discipline. And if something isn't working, you can change it. There's no rule that says you have to stick with the same discipline style. So you would be surprised at how much you can accomplish just building communication, giving your husband the lead, and honoring and respecting him, to just give him opportunities to prove himself as the man of the house. If their way doesn't work, let him try it. Let him figure it out, because guess what? What happens in my marriage is that if my husband is wrong, he will figure it out for himself. He will see how his decisions play out in our child's lives, and he is a very smart, loving, caring man. So he will change that and he'll say, you know what, maybe you were right. And there have been moments where I'll say, okay, honey, let's do it your way and, you know, see what happens. Parenting is hard. No one has it right. Everybody's trying whatever they can, however they're doing the best that they can, right? We're all trying our own way to make sure our kids grow up to be productive citizens of society, right? And so I hope that you know that this decision that you make on how to discipline your children or how to parent your child, it doesn't have to be that way for the rest of their lives. This is all going to be trial and error for most of us anyway. In this moment that you really pursue surrendering your heart to Christ, trusting your kids with your Heavenly Father, knowing that He knows very well who their parents are and what decisions they're going to make. I know that God has covered us and has extended His mercy and His grace, so He will cover all the things that we did wrong, and there's grace there, friends. And so just trust your spouse, give him an opportunity or her an opportunity to take the lead. And if it doesn't work, it will always come back to you anyway. So I hope this helped you, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in again to Dear Miss Mary. If you have any questions, send me an email to Ask Dear Miss Mary. Send me a message. I would love to hit on the topics that you're curious about. And again, you are such a blessing to me. So thank you so much for subscribing, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Happy Easter.